How's it going, everybody? So I made one of the last couple of videos I made. Um, I mentioned something about like some pipes can be duds. I think I used the word duds, and I think I was probably referring to like Petersons because I think it was the video I was smoking my little Peterson that I have still, and I got a comment. A guy was a newer pipe smoker, I believe, commented and just kind of said, "What makes some pipes duds?" And I think it's kind of like it's sort of an unfair assessment in a way because I think a lot of times it's not necessarily the pipe's fault, right? It could be your cadence, it could be the tobacco that you're smoking in the pipe, it likes a certain style or a certain blend or a certain cut, and maybe you don't smoke that tobacco or whatever it is. Because there's been pipes where I thought weren't great. Um, they weren't great, but they were like okay. And then I smoke a certain style of blend out of it, and it's really good. I mean, that could also be that you give it enough time, and maybe it kind of it seasons itself a little bit because sometimes newer pipes can be a little you can't really judge them too quickly. So I usually keep a pipe for quite a while and try to work through it and try to figure out if it's pretty good, if it's going to work for me or not. I don't smoke it 3 or 4 times and then go, I don't like how it smokes, and then get rid of it. It's not really, that's not sort of my general way of doing things. But um, so duds. For me, a dud would be a pipe that doesn't smoke well or gives the tobacco an off flavor that I know isn't the tobacco's fault. Pipes that don't draw well and I can't seem to fix it. Sometimes I can open up the airway a little bit, or there may be things I can do um, to uh, to correct that a little bit. Pipes that smoke wet, no matter what kind of tobacco I smoke, they just always seem to have an excess moisture, and it's like one of those things where you're sitting there with a pipe cleaner every 2 minutes and just cleaning it out, or getting like overly gurgly. Some pipes will gurgle when they're not wet at all. Like if you just light it up and you pack it lighter, still gurgles. Pack it tighter, still gurgles. I've had those. So I mean, a dud just basically to me just means like a pipe that just doesn't smoke that well for whatever reason. Could be a bunch of different reasons, and it might be you. Um, that's why I say it's kind of unfair to the pipe sometimes, because I don't smoke this pipe. I don't smoke a pipe the same as everybody else, and maybe it just the way that I smoke it makes it perform not so great. I don't know. So I've had some duds. I think most people know like Petersons are generally like not my favorite because I've only found one Peterson. I still have it that I actually feel like smokes pretty good. The other ones just never really felt like they smoked that well. They seem to gurgle a lot. I think the engineering was not great. That was before they were owned by their current ownership. So maybe that was part of it. I don't know. I don't feel like their fit and finish. I mean, their fit and finish I think is pretty decent now, but their fit and finish um, in the past I don't think was that great. And I understand it's a factory pipe. I get that, but I still think that there's a level of fit and finish that you should have when you're paying, you know, $100 to $200 for a pipe. Everyone knows I love Stanwell. If you've watched the channel for a little while, you know like I'm a big Stanwell guy. I really like Stanwell, and I have had at least one pipe from Stanwell that was a dud, and it just gurgled no matter what I did. It would, I just couldn't get it to not gurgle, and it smoked okay, but it just gurgled and it was annoying. So I don't have that one anymore. Um, I really like Radici. I've got several Radicis, and I have had one Radici that was a dud. Kind of my fault though. It was like it didn't smoke that great, and I wasn't a big fan of the dimensions of the pipe. It was pretty big, um, so it smoked okay, but it didn't smoke great, and I didn't like the dimensions, so it was just kind of like, just it didn't stick around. If it smoked amazing, and I didn't like the dimensions, I probably would have kept it anyway, but like that was kind of a twofer thing. So part of that was, like I said, my fault. I don't know that it was really necessarily a dud. Like I said, it did smoke okay most of the time, but not great. Not what I'm used to from Radici. And then, I have some other pipes that are like basket pipes that smoke better than that Radici did. So I have one. I have one pipe that you consider a basket pipe that smokes really good. It's a really good smoker. So for me, that's kind of duds. I think a lot of it comes down to like engineering. The draft hole, the draft hole from here all the way through. This is easy because it's a straight pipe, so it's pretty hard to screw up the engineering on a straight pipe. I'm sure it can be done, but the engineering, you want the draft hole to be like pretty in line with no obstructions or like super sharp turns. And very bent pipes, that's not always the case. You have to, there's gonna be some angles that are different, but like I don't have an example here, but say you have a super bent pipe, right? So I'm gonna try to do this with my hands. So you have like the stummel at this point is like at a big angle like this. Well, obviously you can't. It's hard to drill right, like straight through. So a lot of times they have to drill a hole, like kind of like a pilot hole, like kind of through, and then they use that to change the angle and drill a hole into the actual bottom of the bowl, because it's very difficult when you have like a super bent pipe to angle it like exactly perfect, right? Like you can't angle it exactly perfect into the hole. So you have to like kind of drill down a little bit, like a bigger hole, and then you kind of change the angle and you do it again, right? So you're doing some funkiness, and then then you have your stem. So you want to try to drill that and get that seated in a way where things generally kind of line up. So that's kind of a thing. I don't think I've ever had any. I think most of it comes down to engineering, whether or not a pipe smokes good or not. A lot of it comes down to engineering. Also, quality of briar. Some quality of briar isn't, great. Obviously, like the factory pipes, I think are using, in general, lower quality briar than than some of the handmade carvers are using. So the engineering could be spot on. Maybe the briar is not quite as good, so you're probably not going to notice. You're not going to notice it probably most of the time. But you may think, oh, that's kind of interesting. This Stanwell doesn't smoke as good as my other Stanwells, and that might not be an engineering thing. It might be a briar thing, or whatever. It just, unfortunately, it's one of those things where you can never, it's very difficult to tell if something's going to be a good smoker without smoking it, obviously. So a good way to test that that a lot of people have talked about is if you can run a pipe cleaner to keep the stem in, run a pipe cleaner through, and it runs through and into the bottom of the bowl without any kind of major hangups. That's generally a pretty decent way to tell if you have a pipe that's engineered well. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to smoke well. it's an indication that you're on, that you should be on the right track. But I've had pipes that didn't didn't run a pipe cleaner very well, or I had to finagle the pipe cleaner and kind of bend it in a certain way and then feed it through and then rotate it and get it in. And those pipes smell great. And I've had pipes that ran a pipe cleaner super smooth all the way through, didn't smell great. So unfortunately, it's one of those things where you just gotta smoke it, try it, and then I would consider, like I said, I would encourage people to smoke a lot of different kinds of things. Don't just smoke the same thing over and over. Like, say you're smoking English blends and you're just not really getting the flavor that you normally get. It's not really the same experience, not as good. Try something else. Try smoking a Virginia Burley or straight Virginia Perique or whatever. Try smoking something different. If you're used to smoking flakes, try a ribbon cut or try like a broken flake or something like that. Just try different methods and see if you find something that works well. So sitting here talking like crazy and not smoking. So that's part one of the video. By the way, I'm smoking a little Castello Opera pipe with some Escudo. Now, hopefully, completely separate of that pipe dud thing, got a pipe in the mail. So we're gonna open it. I mentioned this the other day that I had Jeremiah Sandall had I had commissioned a pipe from Jeremiah Sandall, so that's what we have here. So we're gonna open it up. We're gonna check it out. See how it looks. I have high hopes that this will not be a dud. I do not think Jeremiah Sandall will make dud pipes. Nice box, that's for sure. How this came about was I had messaged Jeremiah like probably in 2022, I think, about like, hey, what does it take to get on the list, yada yada yada. He was super busy at that point. He was basically like, I'll hit you up when I get closer to like, when I get closer to having less people on my list. And wow, this is a great box. And he's like, I'll hit you up and we'll see where you're at. So he did. It was like, shoot, I think it was almost a year later, 9 months later, something like that. He's like, hey, my list is getting a little bit shorter. Want to see if you're still interested in a pipe. And I was like, man, I like literally had just bought in a couple things, and I was like, it's just bad timing. I'm like, yeah, I'm still interested. It's just kind of bad timing. Can we give it a couple months and a few months, and I'll let you know. He's like, yeah, no problem. So a few months go by, 3, 4, 5 months go by or whatever, and I message him back and I say, hey, how's that list looking? Are we still doing okay? He's like, yeah, I think I can squeeze you in. We came up with an idea. My only thing was I really liked this certain stem material that he was using at the time when I first messaged him, and I was hoping he still had some of that. He had a little bit of it, and then I originally kind of mentioned something about like a slight bent apple, I think. But I decided to change that. So we kind of went with something a little bit different. And this is gonna be a little bit longer video, which I think is okay, right? Because you guys are sitting around, hopefully, smoking a pipe, just chilling, hanging out. So hopefully you don't mind a little bit longer video. Which is what I seem to make anyway. I seem to make longer videos anyway. So this is like the box that was inside that black box. super super cool. You know, it's like a real like kind of epic looking box. I think that's great. That's really cool box. So big time props to Jeremiah for making a cool box. Little foam inside. Wow. Huh. Man. Got a little card. And then got like the foam inside. This is like probably one of the best packages that I've ever seen. You know, I have some artisan pipes. I don't have a ton, um, and but this is like great. I wonder if you like. I don't know how else you get a Jeremiah Sandall. Like I don't know if he makes pipes for like online retailers. I don't know if I've ever actually looked. I just follow him on Instagram, and that's kind of where I follow him at. But I wonder if he did make for like other retailers. I wonder if they would. I wonder if like they get the same kind of packaging because that's really cool. And on the front it says, "Understanding the sophisticated world through pipes." Okay, that's cool, I guess. Um, so, kind of like I said, kind of weird that I'm opening up I'm doing a video about dud pipes and then opening what I would consider a pretty expensive commission pipe. So, but like I said, I save for all this stuff, and it is what it is. But like I said, I wanted to get the response out to the guy for the comment, and then if he has any other questions, he can obviously message me and we'll talk about it. But I think it's probably talked about enough. So, all right, let's pull it out of the bag, right? Everyone likes to do it a certain way. Let's get it. I think that's right side up. There's the bag. Pretty cool. Like super nice bag. Like extremely nice bag. One of the nicer bags. Great box. This is good stuff. There you go. I really, really, really like this stem material. It's like a faux ivory, like a fake ivory. I just think it looks like really cool. This is like a cream and root beer color scheme. And if you guys follow Jeremiah, you might have seen this. He's posted this quite a few times on his Instagram in the last couple weeks, and I've been really excited about it. I just think it looks epic. It's just super, super, super nice. I mean, the dude does extremely good work. Yeah. Oh man, like extremely open airway, and that's what I'm talking about with engineering. I wish I could get this on film because, oh man, I would. This is what you get when you get an artisan pipe. You get. It's not like, like with like even with this pipe with this Castello, right? It's fanned out here, but if you look in there, about an eighth of an inch in, it's just a little hole. And conversely, this, I can't see a hole. It just looks like it's completely fanned out the whole way through. They get in there with little files and they just file away, and it's just super open, nice draft hole. Obviously, the drilling is, it's perfect. I mean, it's right there, dead center, right at the bottom of the bowl. Really good weight. That's my thing. Is like I'm a I'm way more interested in like dimensions, and he nailed the dimensions perfectly. Fits really good in my hand. I don't like huge pipes. I don't like really big pipes. This is perfect. The shape, it's like a strawberry acorn shape. man, I can't say enough. I will. I guess another thing I'd say is, you know, his pipes are expensive. You know, to some people maybe they're not expensive. To other people maybe they're not obtainable. You know, I don't know everyone's. You know, I don't know your financial, but if you have the means to afford one of his pipes and get in touch with him and do an estate. Obviously, I haven't smoked it, but yet. But this is it. I would recommend you do it just based on looking at the dimensions, looking at the draft hole. Um, Looking at, you know, the drilling, the mortise to tenon looks like it's just spot on. That's another thing that can cause some gurgling is when the end of this tenon, if it doesn't like sort of butt up flush or really close to flush inside your mortise. Sorry, I got a low battery. Inside your mortise, that gap between here and the mortise inside will cause sort of a vortex of airflow, and it'll cause extra moisture to accumulate, and that extra moisture will travel down your mortise into the bottom of your bowl, causing more gurgling and moisture in your tobacco and things like that. But this, I mean, just nice and snug, not tight, but snug. I mean, it feels perfect. It feels really, really good. Great sandblast. I mean, super comfortable. Super comfortable. It's amazing to me. It's funny because I know better with Jeremiah. I've seen enough of his work to know it's really good. But when I start, you know, if I didn't know anything about him and I see stuff like super high quality packaging, you know how kind of what it is like a lot of times, you know, something looks really good and it comes in really great packaging, and then the product's kind of like sort of falls short. Obviously, I haven't smoked it yet, and I'm not smoking it right now. I will probably smoke it tonight. This I do not think will fall short. I think that this is going to be a very, very nice pipe, and I think it's going to smoke extremely well. So there you go. New pipe from Jeremiah Sandall. I don't think that he knows I have a YouTube channel. I didn't tell him that. I don't, you know, I didn't really feel like it was necessary. But if he sees it, pretty high praise, Jeremiah. Pretty high praise so far. So I'll smoke it. I'll probably get like, you know, I'll get however many bowls I think into it that I need, and hopefully report back. If I don't report back in the next couple months, someone remind me, hopefully, to report back, and I will, and we'll go from there. So kind of a yin and yang video. We have talking about pipe duds, and then really nice commission pipes from what I can tell, really talented pipe makers. So there you go. Any other questions on the pipe dud thing, just leave them in the comments down below the video. I'd be happy to respond. Anyone out there has this Sandall, let me know. Let me know how it smokes. Let me know what you think about it. The other thing with him is super great service, very responsive. Drew a picture of his idea. I kind of gave him some ideas, and then he drew a picture of it, sent it to me. that was really cool. So there you go. So if you don't if you don't follow Jeremiah Sandall, he's worth it to go to Instagram, shoot him a follow, see what he does. He does a lot of really cool stuff. He does kind of his signature thing for a long time. I think probably still is like the real wide shanked pipes, real wide flat shank pipes, and I think they look really cool. Just not really my style. So, but you know, obviously he's super talented because you know he can do stuff like that. Just great dimensions. Really, 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 really nice. Oh my gosh, and look at that too. You guys can't really see it. I didn't even expect this. Let me see if I can. Hold on. Of course, now I can't get it to do it. But sitting here on my shelf, it sits perfectly upright. But obviously, I'm shaking and moving around too much to get it to do it on that. But it's just sitting there perfectly upright. Bonus, right? I think that's pretty much it because now I'm just rambling. And so, yeah, we have probably another video coming next week. So be on the lookout for that. And once again, like I said, leave comments. Check out some of my old videos. If you're new to the channel, check out some of my old videos. And let me know what you think. Always like to know what you guys think. And any way you want to do that, whether you want to comment or like or whatever, do your thing. So pretty much have a good weekend, and everyone be safe for the new year. Come back home to your families. All right. Adios.